Governor Malloy and the head of CL&P, Jeff Butler, are giving the morning briefing right now at the State Armory. Let's listen in.
For a short period of time to allow for some additional work to be done to bring even more people back. So currently they're at 432. It's not exactly where I thought they'd be or where they said they'd be, but it is reasonably close to that. I think at about 124,000. I'm holding them accountable to the benchmarks they set. And let me say again, people are discussing legislation and other ways to make sure this kind of storm, if it happens again, that we can get people back on more quickly. I agree that we should be looking at that, but the discussions we have to have can wait until we get more of our people back online. I've already asked the task force, Irene, to take up, and they've agreed to take up this event and to look at it seriously. But we got to get 450,000 or 432,000 people back on power, and I'm squarely focused on getting that power on. A few other notes: 79 towns have submitted commodities orders. Most of those have been filled, and 5 are being filled as we speak. People should check with their homeowners and renters insurance to see what they might be able to receive for reimbursements for. FEMA assistance does not currently cover food spoilage, although I can't predict what may or may not be included in the future. So if you're keeping your things, that there is no guarantee that the declaration will include that. Tomorrow was a deadline for FEMA assistance application for Storm Irene. However, I've been able to register and call and the FEMA folks and ask them to consider late applications through November 15th so that their late application date would correspond with other dates that we're setting by executive order as we go through the days. Again, it is important for residents to know that this would be for Irene only. No decision by the federal government has been made with respect to the current storm. Shelter numbers: 91 shelters were up and running last night, 111 warming shelters, battery charge and showers. That falls into that 111, 91 actual shelters up. I don't have a total count for you how many people stayed last night. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Butler, but there's a point I want to make in the debate about how many crews should be included by CL&P and UI. I want to note that in 2008, a docket was brought requesting clarification on that issue. This is well before I was governor. And in 2008, through a docket of DPUC, it was decided that current staffing levels were the acceptable level for current provision of day-to-day services. Obviously, they kept that service number. I'm not defending what the DPUC did in 2008. I'm simply stating that in time before I was governor, that decision was actually brought. And that decision was actually rendered. Obviously, I think the DPUC is going to have to take a look at that issue in light of the difficulties we're having. Town restoration: there are 5 towns that are currently above 90% outage. That's a significant drop from where we were. There are 11 towns that now fall into the 80 to 89 outage. So some progress is being made in almost all of the towns. Not every town, but almost all of the towns. With that, I'm going to have Jeff give you his report.
Good morning, and thank you, Governor. I know this continues to be a challenging and frustrating experience for everyone, our customers, town and state officials across the board. As the Governor mentioned, we have made significant progress yesterday. As we speak, we've restored 517,000 customers, including 124,000 in the last 24 hours, and currently sit at about 432,000 customers still without power. I am pleased to report that all critical transmission lines have been restored, so all substations have been restored and now have power to them, whereas we make distribution repairs, those customers can be re-energized as well. We have as I mentioned last night, over 5,000 employees and contractors working today, including 1,479 tree and line crews, and that's made up of 851 line crews and 628 tree crews. Let me take a moment to address the question that came up last night regarding a few customers receiving specific times that were later changed to more to reflect the 99% restoration for those towns. The issue was that a technician was working in the system and inadvertently added incorrect data into the system. Actually, the problem had been identified and was resolved by the time I got back to my office last night. So we continue to review that and make sure that those type of issues don't occur as we continue to move forward. Over the next 12 to 24 hours, we will continue the restoration effort at a very aggressive pace. We continue looking to bring in additional crews, and we continue to work with the state and municipalities in areas of make safe, clearing roads, and in some areas restore the business districts, as well as continue to address the critical customer needs that need to be re-energized. As I mentioned, we still are outreaching. We expect to bring in additional crews both Friday and through Saturday and Sunday to get all customers restored as quickly as possible. I'll update those numbers tonight as what I expect into tomorrow and the weekend. By tomorrow morning, we expect to be at or below 300,000 customers without power as we continue to work towards the 99% restoration by midnight Sunday. As I mentioned earlier, we recognize the significant impact this storm has had on everyone. Our customers, the towns, virtually everybody in this state. When you look at just within CL&P, almost 80% of all our customers lost power at one time or another. This has had a major impact on people, on their lives, their families, and we strive to get people restored as quickly as possible. Thank you.
I want to touch on a couple of other points before we take any questions. Air quality is suffering. We have I guess an inversion system hanging over our heads, which is not allowing for as rapid exchange of the atmosphere or the air in the lower portion of the atmosphere. So based on all the combustion that's now taking place with generators and people burning wood and that sort of thing, our air quality is suffering. So we need to caution people to be careful. If you normally are used to having some respiratory difficulty, it's going to be more difficult. Reach out to the appropriate healthcare professional or get help if you need it. Obviously, in these kinds of circumstances, to the best of your ability, if you can stay indoors, obviously that's what the normal advice is. Having said that, some amount of ventilation in your house, if you are burning things, is important to maintain as well. And final point, CO. We continue to have reports of CO poisoning. I don't have updated numbers. I'll have those for you later today. It continues to be a very great concern. I think you've done a great job in helping us inform the public of the dangers, but again, grills and any kind of consumption of engine run by consumption of some fuel source other than electricity is going to drive up CO levels in the house. Ventilation is important if you're having fires in your house, and of course do not bring anything like a grill or a generator in your house, and do not charge your batteries, cell batteries, with a car that's parked in your garage. It makes no sense at all. A couple of other things. CL&P workers and our invited workers from outside the state, please stay away from them. I'll let them get their job done. Leave them alone. The proper way to get information is on the computer or on the telephone. These folks should not be approached. Every time they're approached, it's going to further delay the ability for them to get the work done that they need to get done. So we don't want to see people, these folks, being bothered out there while we're trying to get at a pretty quick clip now, 125, 150,000 people connected a day. With that, I'll take a few questions.
Jeffrey, if you could come back to the podium. We're getting hundreds and hundreds of emails from people who are watching these events on television or on mobile devices or however they're getting them. And they have lots of questions that they're sending to me with regard to what your actual request has been for additional help over the rest of the week. And how much help do you think it would have taken to actually have restored things even faster? What would have been an ideal situation for you?
Yeah, I don't know what the actual ideal will. I will tell at this point we are requesting all available crews that we can get here in short order. So we've pretty much moved away from saying we still have open positions. we're looking at bringing in any resources available as quickly as possible. So that part is, we're going to bring in whatever we need to accelerate restoration as quickly as possible.
But has that gone out beyond the New England and the New York Edison? Has it gone beyond that region, the grouping there, that mutual aid group that you talked about the other night?
Much of the resources we brought into this point are well from outside of the New England Northeast region. So we brought, once again, I believe the last time I looked at it, 15, 20 states that we brought people in from. I know we brought in some crews from the western part, Vancouver area of Canada. We're also in discussions again with Hydro-Quebec. They've been tied up on some other things, but we're also looking at those resources come down here. I actually believe we have 25 crews now from Hydro-Quebec here as well. So we are outreaching throughout our region and beyond to bring crews here there as quickly as possible. We do know that as utilities wrap up more locally, as they get down in their final restoration, we're talking to see if those crews can come here and support us as well. So we're doing whatever we can to increase the amount of crews.
You now have United Illuminating's crews on duty, is that correct?
That is correct.
Jeff, Heather Hedges from Channel 3. First of all, what has Alfred cost CL&P so far? And second part to that question, do you anticipate any of that being passed along to customers?
As we talked about in Irene, there's a process that it goes through PURA in terms of recovery, which we'll follow. We have reserved the costs on Irene to discuss later with PURA. I expect we'll use that same process with the cost of this storm. Given it's in the same magnitude, we're probably still talking in this storm as well in the $75 to $100 million range minimum.
So how much of that could be passed along to customers? If you can't speak with Alfred, maybe you can speak to Irene.
There's a process, as I mentioned, both here and at the hearings. There is a process that's already in place through the Public Utility Regulatory Authority of how utilities, not just us, all utilities, on a process where they review what happens and they decide what is prudent as far as any recovery from customers. That's the process we'll follow.
Is there a chance that none of it will be passed along? Is
That
there a window that you
we'll follow the process. I believe the costs we have incurred are costs necessary to serve our customers. We will submit what we did, how we planned, how we went through the event to restore customers, and we'll present that information to PURA. And we'll let the process follow.
It won't go, be passed
That will
along
be
to
PURA's
customers?
decision.
People don't know what PURA is. That's what now used to be the Public Utilities Control Authority. Right?
It's an agency, right, that mirrors that organization.
Mr. Butler, I have a question for you. Are you going to apologize to the people of Connecticut and admit any deficiencies either in the run-up before the storm or the response afterwards?
We are doing everything possible to restore our customers as soon as possible. As this storm, as I mentioned last night, as we got the weather forecast last Friday, we ramped up putting people on call. We have been seeking additional resources since Saturday, given the fact that the storm on Saturday, we had greater snow accumulation, which really caused the greater damage. So, we have been getting every resource we can as quickly as possible. I know, especially given the weather conditions, people are frustrated. But I think we have been doing a very good job to get customers restored. As I mentioned, this storm was far more significant than even Irene. And we continue to bring every resource in here. I'm frustrated that customers are out of power, especially given the weather conditions. But I'll tell you, we're doing everything possible to get customers restored as quickly as possible.
Mr. Butler, for the 1.2 million customers you have for CL&P, do you have enough crews on retainer on a daily basis? Is that an issue here?
To do the normal work we do every day, yes, we do. I believe between our crews on the property and contractors that we use that are here virtually all the time, we have resources to do day-to-day business as well as storms.
What is that number?
Yeah, I got to stop you for a minute. You weren't here, and you came in a little late. We addressed this issue previously. I pointed out that in 2008, there was a DPUC hearing on this subject. I'm not saying that they made the right decision. I'll point out to you that I was not governor at the time. And DPUC decided on what the right number of crews to be retained by the utilities were, and that included contract employees. So we've addressed that, and we'll give you another shot at it when you get here at the beginning of the next news conference. One more question.
How do you decide
One
which-
more question, and you have it.
How do you decide
One-
which
one more.
crews?
For 5 days
How do you-
without power.
Yep.
How do you decide which crews go to which towns for today? I know that the commercial areas were
That's a
big
fair
focus
question.
yesterday, but
Go ahead.
You know, as I've talked about during the week, our initial focus was on the make safe, getting roads open, those types of things. We transitioned yesterday, and right now it's focused on getting the biggest amount of customers back the soonest. And certainly in the hardest areas, that is the focus right now of getting more resources into, basically the northern central part of the state to start bringing those towns that are still the hardest hit back. That is the focus, and we'll focus on today.
and
I
that's
have a
one safety
follow-up,
question.
something that
Follow-up
Mr.
to
Butler
that.
had talked about.
Go ask the safety question.
There's a lot of this brush on the side of the roads coming over the roads at this point. There's a lot of questions here as far as should people pull that back if it's going in? Live wires are now getting turned back on. What
No, let's be very clear. Stop for a second. Nobody should go anywhere near a wire, period. That's why this process takes so long, because public safety has to be first. So absolutely nobody go near a wire. Once the company is out there and they're clearing those, and there's a lot of clearing going on. You can see it starting to happen in much larger numbers. But do not go anywhere near a wire. It just doesn't make any sense. Let the professionals take care of that. Anything that's not near a wire, obviously you can help us out by clearing that road or whatever, or that sidewalk or your own property. But do not go anywhere near a wire. Let me talk about the rest of the schedule today. Both the Lieutenant Governor and I will be traveling the state. I'll be actually out in West Hartford shortly. And I know the Lieutenant Governor...
I'm in Seymour this morning.
Seymour this morning. And then we'll do our 12 o'clock call with our municipalities, as we have been doing on a regular basis. Those generally take about an hour. If anything comes out of that of particular interest, we'll communicate that to you in writing. We're going to have a 5:30 state call again, after which we will give you an additional briefing and time to ask questions at 6 o'clock. We'll start. Thank you.
I have a